sides.
How often have you hung out with giraffes?
Hey, I don't get to hang out with giraffes very often.
Me either, unfortunately. I don't get to do too much fun stuff all the time. Bruce, how long of a tongue do you think these giraffes have?
You know, the tongue's about 18 inches long.
You're right, it is 18 inches long, combined with an 18-foot body. This allows these guys to reach just about anything they want out in the plains of Africa. You know, we're going to be learning a lot about these giraffes today. What do you have planned?
Well, I'm gonna interview Rhea Rich, who's the president of the Zoo-Links organization, and maybe you'll finally find out what a docent is.
Oh, we all get to find out what a docent is today. That sounds like a lot of fun. Today, we are spending some time with these 4 amazing creatures at Chaffee Zoo, bringing you up close and personal like no one else can. So make sure to stay tuned, because at the end of this program, we're going to have a quiz. And if you're lucky enough to answer all the questions, you may win 4 tickets to Chaffee Zoo to come see these creatures yourself.
With all that said, I'm Bruce Campbell.
I'm Lynn Myers.
Welcome to this edition of Let's Do the Zoo on C14. Let's get going.
The kangaroo jumps up and down. The turtle crawls up on the ground. If you don't believe it's true,
come on, let's do the zoo.
Cockatoo will tell you that giraffe's neck is long. Camel riding through the zoo while the hippo sings along. Bring your family, come right in. You're always welcome here, my friend. Every word I say is true. Come on, let's do the zoo.
Hi, I'm here with Rhea Rich, president of Zoo-Links, our volunteer organization. Rhea, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. Glad to be with you, Bruce.
Great. What can you tell us about the Zoo-Links organization?
Zoo-Links is an auxiliary of the Fresno Zoological Society, and it's the educational arm of the society. And we administer something like 18 various programs which involve direct education of the public regarding animals, the zoo, conservation, and ecology.
That's neat. That's something we really need. Everybody needs to learn those kind of things, and it's so good they can do it here at the zoo. How many docents are there?
There are about 110 active docents currently.
110.
Yeah.
And being volunteers, how many hours? What kind of hours do they put in?
Last year, the docents volunteered 22,500 hours in 2002. We think that during those hours we reached 120,000 individuals.
120,000 people.
Yes.
That really shows you're getting your message out.
That's right.
And you know, 2,000 hours is a normal working year. That means that they volunteered about 10 years worth of volunteer service for the zoo.
It's incredible. We have some docents who are so devoted that they will spend 700 hours a year. Some docents do less, which is fine. We ask that they do about 72 hours a year, and that works well for us.
I see. That's good. And so they're all involved in all of these 18 programs that are going on.
That's right. And to my right, we can actually see one of the programs. The exploration station is an area in the zoo where we display biofacts. That's various animal products, such as their skulls or fur or eggs or feathers, anything that we can collect when an animal either dies at the zoo, that we can then use as an educational aid for the children that visit the zoo. It's a wonderful program.
And these are all things that the kids of all ages can touch.
Absolutely,
and
yes.
so you can really get close to these animals.
So for someone who has never felt what a lion's mane feels like, they can come to the exploration station and do just that.
You just can't walk up to a lion and say, "Can I
No,
pat?"
sir.
No,
sir.
Not at all. Not at all. That's neat. And then I noticed also there's a member of the Raptor Committee over here. With an owl out on display.
That's right. Jan is standing over there, and she has a barn owl which she is displaying for the zoo visitors. As they come by, they stop and speak with her, and she tells them about owls, how they hunt, how they listen, and that sort of thing. And it's a very popular program as well. volunteer educator.
And if someone wanted to volunteer in the education department, how would they go about doing that?
Well, there are a number of different capacities that you can volunteer in the education department, not exclusively docenting. And what an individual can do is call the education department at 621-5720, and they can be directed when they reach the education department into all sorts of volunteer capacities.
What's involved in becoming a docent?
If you want to be a full-fledged docent, that requires taking a 17-week, fairly intensive course through the education department. It's a great deal of fun, and you learn so much information. But once you have that under your belt, then you're a full-fledged docent.
That's really neat, Rhea. Thank you very much for spending some time with me. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, and obviously we are here with the giraffes today. I'd like you to meet Tina. Tina is a keeper that has been with us for a number of months. Actually, she's a pretty new keeper. How long have you been here, Tina?
Been here just about a year and a half.
Wow, you have already.
Already.
Time really flies. Tina is one of the main caretakers of not only the giraffes that live in our center hoof area or our open savanna area, but there's a number of animals that live here. Tina, can you tell me about the combinations you have out here?
I sure can, Lynn. Over here in the center hoof open area, we have reticulated giraffes, which this is one of them, one of our females named Baba. Out here behind us are scimitar horned oryxes, and we also have a Grant or plains zebra out here. And of course we have our newest addition to center hoof, and that is our warthogs that we just moved over.
Yes, I can't wait to go visit them. Also, you have little guys with stripes on their sides, which are the
Thompson gazelles.
The Thompson gazelles.
Thank you. I do overlook
staff you have. We're always ready for something to happen.
Generally, yeah, we try and prepare for every scenario possible, and we also try and prepare the animals as best we can. Sometimes we can train them, sometimes we can't. It really depends on the circumstances.
Another question I have about this exhibit is obviously more zoos are moving away from the hard, large railings or exhibit walls. This wire, can you tell me a little bit about the wire?
I can. We actually are really lucky that we're able to do this. This is a lot nicer for the visiting public. It gives them less barriers to have to look through to see the animals. We found it very successful. Our animals really respect it.
Is it hot?
It is hot. It is a hot wire. They will test it and decide that it is hot, and then they will set up their own boundaries within their own territory. So actually, they stay pretty confined.
That's great. Tina, now you said this wire was hot. What does that mean?
It's electric. You will get shocked if you touch it.
So the giraffes will get shocked if they touch it.
Exactly. And they test it, like I said, and once they figure out what their boundaries are, they'll set their own inside. So we've been really lucky with this kind of a setup in that the people can see them, get a real good, clean look at them, and they're safe within and safe without.
And they're getting shocked, but it's not something that's burning them or hurting them. It's just reminding them that this is their barrier.
Right. This is a perimeter. They can't go anywhere near it.
When the giraffes are right next to us, it's just amazing how big they are. How much do they weigh?
Giraffes can get up to 2,600 pounds, believe it or not. The females range about 14 feet. The males can get up to 18 feet.
Wow, that's amazing. How do you possibly feed all these animals? Do they have their individual feeding spots?
We actually do have feeding spots for them, again, because the giraffes like to eat up high. We have feeders that are up high for them.
That's great. That's a good idea.
We do have a community feeder, if you will, for the rest of the hoof stock. We have like 2 or 3 spots that we'll feed them in. We'll feed them over here, and we have a cement feeder over there, and then we have a small one inside that little area, tree area there for the little Thompson's gazelles.
That's great. How much does this giraffe eat a day? And what do you feed him?
Well, these guys actually can eat about 75 pounds of food a day if they were in the wild and they were browsing. What we do is we give them free choice in alfalfa. We give them about, let's see here, 56 pounds of an HMS or a grain pellet.
Wow.
It's like a supplement that we give them, and that's once a day, split between 4 giraffes. And then we give them as much browse as we can possibly get. This is again something that they would eat in the wild only, and so we want to give them as much of that as possible. That's really what they like.
That's great. Now we were talking about the different species out here. I noticed one guy that is really, really busy today, and that's our zebra. We only have one zebra now?
We only have one zebra.
Are we planning to getting more, or?
We hope so. We're looking into it right now, and for right this moment, he actually is all by himself, although he has bonded with one of our scimitar females. He has breakfast with her and dinner with her, but right now he's a little preoccupied with his new neighbors.
He looks like he is. Looks like he wants to meet him up close and personal.
He does want to meet up close and personal.
Well, you know what? I think Bruce is over there. Let's go meet the new neighbors.
That sounds good. Let's go. By the way, Lynn, how did you get the warthogs to move?
It was one of the easiest moves because we trained the warthogs ahead of time. Remember all the training we did in the crates?
That's right.
We were able to train them to go in the crates. Did the same thing the very morning. Nothing changed. We made sure everything was the same. They walked in the crates. We closed the door. Forklift picked them up and carried them over here. And you know how much they love their backs being scratched?
Yes.
The whole time the forklift was moving them, we were walking alongside, scratching their backs, letting them know it was okay.
Oh, I bet they enjoyed that.
Easy. They did, and I think they're really happy.
Oh, look, there's Bruce.
Let's go see them.
Cute they are. Cute pigs.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hey Tina, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
And so this is the new warthog exhibit.
This is it. These are our boys.
Wow, this is so much better than that old grotto they were in. You can really see them. Get up close. There's a little bit of wire, but not bad. Are they real pigs?
These are African wild pigs. Yes, they are real pigs. And they're called warthogs. I mean, you can see the fleshy warts on their faces, and the males really have that. That's very, what do I want to say, prominent in the males, really, and there's a reason for that, and that they get a dominance issue going. They like to spar and push each other around using those tusks. Well, those fleshy warts on their faces actually protect their eyes from being cut up and any real serious harm.
Okay, so even though they're sparring with each other, it's kind of a ritualized kind of a thing?
It's a ritualized thing. These two are brothers, and a lot of it happens between the males and especially siblings. When they get to a certain age, they do a territorial sparring, and if they have enough space, one of them will actually decide to kind of go away and be on his own. And this is one of the reasons, again, Lynn and I talked about how important space was in keeping these animals. And this is an example. They were in just too small of a space, so they were actually hurting each other. So this is wonderful.
Yeah, they've got 4 or 5 times as much space here as they had in that other exhibit. This is really nice.
They do, and you can see how much better they're getting along. They really have enough room to get away from each other. They still have arguments like any siblings would, but right now they're really enjoying themselves.
Well, that's good. Tell me about their tusks, Tina.
Okay, well actually the bottom ones are actually called incisors, and they're teeth. And then of course those protruding ones on top are really the tusks. But the bottom ones are the ones that do the damage.
Well, those are really a neat set of tusks on those guys.
They are.
Now, Tina, down here along the wall, you've got some mesh and you've got a board with handles on it and a fire extinguisher. What is all this stuff out in front of the exhibit for?
Well, basically, when we introduce these animals to new exhibits, we want to be prepared for the worst case scenario. We don't know how they're going to react to their boundaries. In case they decide that they're not going to stay, we want to be prepared for it. We want to give them a chance to set their own territory, which they have, and test every part of it, which they have. And at least this gives us kind of a safety net in case something does happen.
So you're prepared and you hope you don't have to use it, and you didn't.
And we didn't,
okay,
exactly.
Then.
Exactly.
I suppose the good planning then, you have all the contingencies, and then you don't have to use them.
Exactly. And, you know, again, we have a huge thank you to our staff for this. This whole exhibit design was done pretty much in-house. We didn't really have the finances to get an outside company to come in, so our maintenance staff, other zookeepers here, senior staff got together and really pulled together as a team and put this whole thing together, including building their new holding area, running new electric fencing, and putting new posts in. We all worked together, and it's something we can really be proud of.
That's really great, because it came out, it looks good, and with just a little bit of wire you can see all the way down through the rest of the animals, the giraffes and everything, and it makes for a very, very pleasing exhibit, and a nice place for the warthogs too.
Yeah, we're real pleased at how it came out. You know, we have all the other animals out there to think about. They're doing pretty good. We've got one zebra that seems to be having a little bit of an issue with it, but we're hoping he'll get over it soon.
Great. Where are you going now?
Well, I'm going to go meet Lynn in the giraffe barn.
All right. I'll see you later.
Okay.
I'm here with the Kid family, who sent in the postcard that was the winner for the drawing for last month for the Let's Do the Zoo, four free tickets to the Chaffee Zoo.
Hey.
And who do we have here today? Molly,
Maggie,
Chelsea, and
Janet Kidd.
Welcome. We're really glad you're here today. And here are your free tickets to allow you into the zoo, and you'll get a personalized tour by me, Bruce Campbell. Now tell me, what did you like about the show?
I love that it's behind the scenes. It doesn't just show the animals, but it tells you all about the animals and where they live and how you feed them and all these little interesting things behind the scenes that we don't get to see when we come to the zoo.
That is really interesting stuff, and nobody has any idea of what it really takes to make the zoo work, and so that the visitors can come in and have such a good time here. Look for your chances to win on upcoming episodes of Let's Do the Zoo. We'll be right back.
We'd like to welcome you back to Chaffee Zoo and back to our incredibly large, tall giraffe barn. We're inside the giraffe barn with Tina and with
Yuzuri.
And what we wanted to show you today was this, basically it's a protective contact unit for giraffes, much like we saw with the elephants.
That's correct, Lynn. This is our protective contact area. It's not as elaborate as the elephants, but it does serve its purpose.
What is its purpose, Tina? Why do you have this?
Well, basically, Lynn, what we do is we are able to bring the giraffes in here every day. We can take a really good look at them, make sure that they don't have any injuries or anything that we need to treat. We can also give them medications if we have to. And like I said, basically just overall care for them. And this really allows us to be protected on the ground. And if we need to treat any part of them, we can remove any of these panels at any time and get to any part of them.
That's great. That's great. Now, all 4 giraffes are trained to come in here?
All 4 giraffes are trained to come in here. We do not work our large male, our adult male, in here anymore. He's outgrown this.
Oh.
The last time we had him in here, he actually almost stepped out of it, and he kind of bent a lot of things on here, so we don't put him in here anymore. He's too big.
So I'm assuming you're in the process of making or purchasing a larger PC wall for the giraffes.
We really would like to do that. We don't have the finances right now, but hopefully soon we'll be able to. We really would like to get him back in here.
I can imagine it's important. While they're up here, let's talk a little bit about giraffes. We have this great face that was here just a second ago. Is this the one that you said you have to keep her entertained, otherwise she gets bored and leaves?
Yuzuri is probably the smartest giraffe that we have here at Center Hoof, and when she is bored and she's not entertained, she will back out. So we do try and keep her busy, and some of her favorite things are browse. This usually will do it for her here. Let's see if she'll pay attention.
Here she comes.
Come back in here.
Tina, giraffes have really unusual heads. Tell us a little bit about some of these incredible characteristics on their face.
Well, all giraffes have these horns on top of their head. They're actually called ossicones. They're not horns in that they are actually bone. A lot of the bumps there that you'll see on the front of their
Forehead.
face basically are calcified lumps, if you will. The males can have 3 or 4 of these, and the females seem to have a little bit less, and also their ossicones are a little bit smaller than the males.
And are they used for any special purpose?
Well, the males do use them to spar with each other. It's for dominance or display. The females basically will also do a lot of necking and carrying on, but like I said, they're not as prominent as the males are.
That's great. I see, we talked a little bit about this 18-inch tongue that comes out. Their mouths are also unusual for another reason. Tell me a little bit about their teeth.
Well, they actually don't have any teeth. I don't know if I can show you this or not. Let's see if we can get her tongue out here. They don't have any teeth on the upper part of their mouth, just on the bottom. They are browsers, which means basically that they like to eat trees and leaves, and so their tongue is very useful with that. They can actually reach out with their tongue, grab the leaves, strip them off the branches. And you notice that she's got a lot of slobber or drool coming out of her mouth. It's very sticky. One of their favorite things to eat in the wild is acacia, and acacia has very, very big thorns. So that saliva secretes and it really protects their mouths from the thorns.
Huh, interesting. And she also has this incredibly long neck. Now,
Yes.
a lot of people look at these necks, and I know there's an old fallacy about giraffes, and a lot of people try to guess how many vertebrae they have in their neck. How many do they have, Tina?
Actually, you'd be surprised. They really only have 7, just like humans. The difference between their vertebrae and ours is that their vertebrae individually could be about 10 inches long.
That's amazing. That is just amazing. That's great. Okay, back to the RD a little bit. Have you ever had to use this protective contact wall for any emergencies or anything like that?
We sure have, and with this giraffe in particular, this female here has caught her eye and cut it pretty good. And so we had to bring her in here and do some emergency stitching on her. So this area was actually pretty useful. We got her in here and we were able to sedate her and keep her standing up. We had other keepers in here with towels around her neck, holding her neck down. And while our veterinarian was up on the ladder, she was actually able to stitch her eye. So we didn't have to lay her down.
I remember that night. It was quite a wild night. It took us a long time, but she was very successful.
Yeah,
With
she's a
very
pretty good girl about it.
That's great.
We're real proud of her. She's real nice in this area.
That's great.
Come here.
Perfect. So, Tina, tell me, how cool is your job?
Well, then, as you can see, this is one job that I would highly recommend. It's very enjoyable. This is probably one of the best parts of our job, is where we actually get to interact with our animals.
It's
Spend
nice.
a little time.
Yeah, I wish you had
very
more time to
nice.
do it. We always have very busy days.
We are very busy, but I usually find a few moments to spend with them just to.
That's great. Well, speaking of a few moments, we'd like to thank you very much for spending time with us today and sharing your giraffes with all of us at home. And I'm going to go out and find Bruce.
Well, great. Lenny, it was nice to see you. Come back anytime.
We'll be back.
Say bye-bye, Zoo. Say bye-bye. You say goodbye. Such a good girl.
How you doing, Bruce?
Oh, I'm tired, but it's been a really great day today.
You know what? Sitting here, I feel like I'm in Africa. How many places can you go, especially in Fresno, where you can see giraffe, Tommies, zebra? We have oryx and warthog.
There's no place but the Chaffee Zoo.
That's right. And where can you learn so much? Speaking.
Nowhere but here.
That's right. And speaking of learning so much, remember earlier we said that we were going to have a quiz?
Yes.
Well, this is it. This is the quiz. You ready? How many vertebrae does a giraffe have in its neck? Do you know the answer?
If you know the answer, you can send it to us on a postcard, or you can email it. That's even easier. Correct answers will go into a drawing, and we'll announce the winner of the drawing on next month's show of Let's Do the Zoo. The winner will receive 4 free tickets
Yay.
to the zoo.
That sounds like fun. You know, and if you don't remember the answer now, don't worry about it, because you can tune in again and see us on this episode or upcoming episodes on C14. And until next time, remember, it's a jungle out there.
Bye.
Bye.